and you are a forthright supporter of Donald Trump. You're actually here at this event as one of his surrogates. Why Donald Trump?
Because he can get the job done. First of all, with what's going on in the world, let's talk a little foreign policy for a moment. Anybody here think that Vladimir Putin's going into Ukraine if Donald Trump is president? No. Anybody think that we're going to lose 13 men and women at Hamid Karzai International Airport leaving Afghanistan? No.
That was shameful.
Does anybody think that we would have to leave 4 embassies under the watch of Donald Trump? Absolutely not. Joe Biden has evacuated 4 United States embassies in 3 years. That's insane. Never happened in our country. Wouldn't happen with Donald Trump. Secondarily, I think that if you're going to have somebody lead our country and really do the work of cleaning out our federal agencies, and there's a lot of cleaning house that needs to occur.
Well, we did hear that in 2016, didn't we? We did hear it. I mean, Trump achieved a lot in the first term, and yes. I was very much a supporter of his, as you probably know. But when it came to draining the swamp, that proved to be a little bit too big for him, didn't it?
Well, look, I think it's big for almost anybody, first time in politics, on this side of it being elected, really coming to face with the depths of the deep state and the swamp. And look, no other president has been under investigation.
The deep state is not a conspiracy theory. That's what you're saying.
Oh no, it's real. And what it is it's lobbyists, it's staffers, it's people in media, it's consultants. It's all these people who are tied into this web that hovers around Washington, D.C.
Yep.
And so when you come in from the outside and you want to actually do business the way business is normally done, they're going to push back. What's the first thing that they did? Not only did they spy on his campaign, they launched a 2-year investigation that they knew was fraudulent and phony that came from Hillary Clinton. Barack Obama was briefed about it. Joe Biden was briefed about it, and they let it occur. It's not simply just spying. It's turning our very institutions against a citizen and against a president. So now that he's been through that, he knows exactly what needs to be done, who can be trusted, and who can't be trusted to get the job done for the American people.
I think he made mistakes in 2017 when he first came into the presidency. He perhaps trusted some people that maybe did let him down very badly. And by the way, we have a mirror image of this in London. You know, much of the same thing that you guys are sat there, the Russia hoax, all these things. We've been through exactly the same thing. Here's the problem, Byron. You know, you see the man's qualities, you see his courage, and in many ways I do as well. And yet, talking to our pollster James Johnson a moment ago, you know, Trump with the base, he is a superhero. No question about it. Never been a political figure that's attracted that level of adoration from his supporters, of disgust from those that are on the other side. But to win this general election next year, you've got to get that middle ground, haven't you? And isn't that where his problem is? Aren't there middle ground voters saying indictment after indictment, drama after drama, maybe it's all a bit too much? How do you get the middle ground?
Well, actually, I don't think that. I think what middle-of-the-road people are seeing is, wait a minute, okay, I have my own personal feelings about Donald Trump, but 4 indictments in 4 jurisdictions, this is nuts. At the same time, when the president's son, Hunter Biden, gets to evade taxes and evade a gun charge with a slap on the wrist, like, that's just gross unfairness. I think the American people understand that.
So you think fair-minded people say what's happening here is wrong?
I think fair-minded people can look at this objectively and say, listen, no matter how you feel, this is not right. And it's indicative of what's happened to our country and our government. And if we're going to save our democracy, if we're going to save our republic, you can't leave people in charge who spy on the American people, who wanted to look into the bank accounts of the American people, who suppressed the free speech of the American people, who were telling the American people they had to take a COVID shot, who were telling the American people they're going to decide the gender for your kids. Those are all middle-of-the-road positions that people are vehemently against, and Donald Trump is on their side. And I'll give you one more. Black families, it's harder for them to make ends meet and to build wealth in this country. They were doing it when Donald Trump was president of the United States. Our economy is stagnating and people are falling behind. They were doing much better when Donald Trump was president of the United States. I tell people all the time, this election is going to be a choice between 45 and 46. Who did it better?
Do you really think that Biden's going to be their candidate?
Yeah, I do.
They're going to stick with him?
I think so. I think they're going to stay with him.
He's falling asleep.
Yeah, so what? So does every other Democrat. What's your point?
Well, I tell you what, you've got some elderly members of your party too, particularly sitting in the Senate. But I have to say, Byron Donalds, a real pleasure to meet you. You bring a fresh injection, I think, into this American election debate. Tonight, any thoughts who might come through and do well?
So I got to tell you, I think you're going to kind of see somewhat of a stalemate. I think if anybody really breaks through, it'll probably be Vivek. He has the ability, from what I've seen of all the candidates, to make a moment. I think the most pressure is obviously on Ron DeSantis. This has to become his coming out party. And, he's going to have multiple people on that stage who are not going to want that to occur. We'll see how that works. But I think Vivek is probably the only one that can stand out. But at the end of the day, listen, man, I respect all the guys that are going to be, and ladies, Nikki Haley, are going to be on this stage tonight. But there's a reason why heavyweights don't box with middleweights. Donald Trump is the heavyweight champ right now.